Is it really worth the shot? So it's a few days on now, and the truck is looking even more used than it was before. Still not quite had its platinum valeting yet, but I won't lie, I've used it an awful lot already, and the more I use it, the less I even want to be bothered with making those repairs. Obviously, we're going to have to repair that headlamp and a few little bits, but I don't think we need to go to town on it. It's working just great. Now last week, Craig got a little bit of footage on the GoPro when we were out and about on its maiden voyage, but I will try my best to do a little bit more. Believe it or not, this can do something like 45 degree, or beyond 45 degree of a bank, you know, if you were traversing along it, which is a little bit squeaky bum. I'll show you the other side because we had a really heavy rainfall last night. It's been very, very helpful to have low range because the Volvo would not have managed this morning. This will be my tripod for the day. I mean, it felt steep, but it might just look like I'm backing out of an Asda car park from your point of view. The clearance has been one of the big things. The ruts, which are here from the old tractors that used to be on this farm, which are pretty deep. I've always had to sit up on top of those in the Volvo, but actually this is perfectly able to clear those. Right, we're coming up to my daily crossing, which I will give you a look at. We had rain last night and I came over in the dark to bring all the sheep back, but it turned out it wasn't as deep as I thought it might get. There was a bit of flooding on the lanes near here, but not in the brook, thankfully. Again, this is going to look far less challenging than it is, but this morning gave us a good challenge slipping up the other side, especially as we had the livestock trailer on the back. And now I'm going to have to reverse to get the flipping camera. Is it really worth the shot? Our sleepers finish here, the concrete. This does become a slip and slide. And this is only one day of rain. So it will quite clearly become inaccessible over here in the autumn. We will, next year, be putting in a bridge that is going to be big enough to take vehicles over, which is going to be a huge plus point, and I'll explain that in a future video another time. But basically, if you look at this brook now and you think that every year it floods out onto these meadows either side, if the rain is coming down and that brook's going up and we've got livestock over that side, by the time there's a slim risk that it's going to come out in the fields, it's going to be far too deep to get through here. You know, you'd be talking over a metre deep. This will ford, I don't know, half a metre. Oh, I've set the camera up so you get a lovely view of the battered front quarter. Right, I don't want to get carried away, but we've got a few bumps and lumps and ruts and squidgy bits in here. I'm even going to put my lights on, because would you believe it, the bulb works in the broken light. Couldn't believe it. Oh, I mean, that doesn't look very impressive at all, does it? Might have asked a bit much of the clearance on the back end there. Right, I don't want to trash the place driving around and becoming some sort of off-road centre, but what we do know is I can come down every morning, every evening, do the pigs. Pigs are moved out further along now, and we can get back. It's not a bad looking vehicle for the money either. I reckon once this has had a bit of a clean up, which probably will be its one and only clean up before it returns to being a muddy farm vehicle. But once we've given this a bit of a pressure wash, get underneath, see what the situation is under there, under all that crud, see if they've got too much rust, and we've sorted out that front headlight, it's not a bad looking vehicle. Dare I say it, it might have the edge on my old Volvo. Not sure we're ever gonna look to get this put on the road again, and I haven't really looked into what that entails as far as getting it back to the DVLA and getting it all signed off. It might be easier if it was just cosmetic, but because it's had a bit of a structural issue at the front, I don't know what checks they have to do there. For now, it's just going to sit on the farm, do its farm thing. Well, the good news is the cable ties have held up, and so far we haven't done any more damage than we had before. If I stand here, it looks half decent. New headlight showed up today. I think once we've got the headlight there, we can adjust things to match it, because that obviously will be easy enough. Our next door neighbour also happens to have the slightly older but similar, so we should be able to see the structural stuff inside to be able to sit them side by side and compare that. Tyres, I think the tyres are going to be just fine for now. We could get really aggressive treads and all sorts, but this is a utility vehicle and I'm not wishing to spend any more money on it than we have to. But now it's time to hear your thoughts on it in the comments. The mechanics amongst you might tell me that that's a terrible engine choice, or should have got the auto or something like that, but obviously this was just one in amongst a load of other scrappers, so hopefully this is going to do the job. It's big, but it's not heavy. Bizarrely, this is half a ton lighter than a Freelander 2, and even more than that if it was the Volvo. There's not much to go wrong as far as electrics go, I hope, because I would be out of my depth pretty quick. It's got a big capacity on the back. It can tow 3 tons, which is fine in and around the farm. And I can't see too many negatives. I think potentially at some point we might have to invest in some different tyres, but really it's not too much longer before we won't be coming over to this side. So it's going to be more about snow and ice and stuff like that, and frost on the grass that side, rather than this slippy mud up and down the brook. The gamble may or may not have paid off. We'll still have to dig into the mechanics of it and see how much damage has been done. But if it's driven this well for the last week, I'm hoping it can't be too bad. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.